What is up, YouTubers and lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to part 3, the finale as it were, of this Can You Make Money Buying a Crash Car series on this little Seat Leon. It's pretty much done, guys. I've got to say, it's just coming up to 2 weeks, I think, since this arrived on my doorstep, and I think I've gone as far as I'm going to go with this. I don't really need to do anything else. I've just given it a quick wash. It's looking, well, black cars, I mean, they're a nightmare. I keep saying I'm never going to buy another black car just because you can never keep the buggers clean, and it's now, since I've washed it, shown up loads and loads of tiny little scratches and imperfections. You know, they're just about everywhere really, to be fair. They're down on the bumper here, there's little scratches there, up in here as well. I mean, to be fair, I think if you polished it back, and as you can see just up over here and stuff like that, if you polished it, because they're not deep scratches, I mean, you can't catch your fingernail on it. I mean, I could quite easily take this, spend 100 quid on it and make it look immaculate again, purely because I know it can be polished back by a professional. I'm not going to try and do that myself, because I actually did buy, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, I did buy a polisher once and I couldn't get my head around it and I just sold it. I couldn't get on with it at all. So I'd rather pay somebody 100 quid to have it for the day and polish it all back. But, you know, that's irrelevant really with this one, because I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'll mention that too. If anybody mentions the scratches, I'll say, look, it's 100 quid to get it done if it really bothers you. It's going to be a cheap little runaround for somebody. Now, bearing in mind, I did have a list of all the things that I'd spent on this car, etc., etc. I'll break that down as much as I can remember, because I've forgotten the list. Of course, I've forgotten the list. It's just one of those things, isn't it? But the car came into me at £870. That was the final sale price. Now, there's a £15 admin fee and a £40 location fee. So that takes it back up 55 quid there, plus the VAT, plus there was the auction fees and the delivery fees. In total, all fees paid to my door, this came in at £1,070, I believe. Roughly £1,070, £1,050, something like that, just over a grand basically. And if you remember rightly, obviously if you've seen the other videos, I'll link in a couple up here as well for you throughout this video, but you'll remember that lower control arm was completely screwed. I replaced that, and we put a new wheel on there as well, as you can see, with a great tyre. All the tyres are fantastic on this, so the mechanical work on this is done. The paintwork, now that is a little bit of a bone of contention. I tried my best to get that. I mean, have a look at the pictures. It's better than it was, far better than it was, and I haven't polished it yet. I've just kind of sanded it back a little bit here. You can actually probably hear it's a little bit rough there. I need to do a little bit more sanding here, and then I need to polish this whole area here. And I'm hoping it'll match in. I'm not going to break my own balls about this, because, as I said, it's going to be a cheap little runaround for somebody. It looks 100% better than it did when it arrived on my doorstep. So anyway, going back to the figures, 1,000, and we'll call it 1,050 quid, because I think it was around about there. Then we spent 100 quid on the wheel and the lower control arm and a little bit of paint. That all came in roughly 100 quid rather. And some floor mats that I bought as well, which I'm not actually going to put in, I don't think, because the floor is so good. I'll keep it for another project maybe. But then again, they're only a tenner, so I haven't decided about that, but we'll include it into the price. So roughly, bearing in mind, as I said, I actually did make a big list of all the stuff I'd spent, and I left it at home. So we're going to rough this out at 1,200 quid. Now that's buying the car, getting it to my door, fixing all the damage, and having it ready to sell. That's 1,200 quid. I'm going to list this at, shall we say, 1,650, 16,995, something around there. I'm hoping to get 1,500 quid for it. I think that's a fair price for a car that needs a little bit here and there. And it's a 2009, as I've said, chain driven, 85,000 miles. You know, it's a lovely, it drives beautifully. I've just been up and down the motorway on it, and it drives just like every other Leon I've ever had. It's a lovely little car to drive. And of course, somebody wants to come down the road now. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, it's a lovely little drive, just like all the other Leons I've had. We're not really reviewing this car per se, because we've done 2 Leons, I think now, a diesel and a petrol, and this is the 1.4 TSI. It's a quick little car, if I'm honest. For a little 1.4, you don't see a huge amount of difference between the 1.6 petrol and the 1.4 petrol turbo, which this is. It's comparable, I would say. What else can I tell you about this car that we haven't actually covered, I guess? Because, as I said, it's not really a review on the car. This is more about, can you make money? I would say to kind of finish off the series, yes, you can, because it's not going to, it's not going to send me on holiday. Getting this car sorted isn't going to send me on holiday. It's going to be 300 or 400 quid in my pocket. If I'm lucky, I'll sell it on. I've got the logbook now as well, because I had to send off the V62, and it's been a nice little experience. And I'm all about experiences. As I've mentioned before, I like doing stuff like I did with the GSX 1400, stripping the brakes, something I've never done before. Not sure if I can. And when the car's of such low value, you do it and you think, well, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to lose my arse on a 10 grand BMW here by trying to do this myself. This is £1,000 Seat Leon. Give it a go, and the fact that I couldn't get somebody to come and do that lower control arm for me kind of pushed me into doing this myself. And it was only 7 bolts, guys, to be fair. Shout out to the guys that mentioned the trolley jack as well, the one I got from Halfords. I will be buying a better one, because I totally agree with what you said. They are crap, even though they say they're rated for 2 tons. I wouldn't fancy really relying on that, to be honest. I mean, I always put a wheel underneath anyway, but they're pretty crappy. So I totally agree with you for that on that point, and thanks for pointing it out in that respect. Let's have a little look at this engine, because I don't think we actually looked at that. We've had a look inside, so there's not much more really I can show you in here. It's a clean little car, it really is. Let's get this bonnet up. I've got nothing but good things to say about the interior of this car. I don't know what its life story is, this car, to be fair, but when I drove it down the road just now, bearing in mind it's been sat for 2 weeks, let's just get this up. There it is, the little 1.4 turbo. Very clean engine bay. I've not actually even cleaned this one like I normally would. Bearing in mind, as I said, that when I went down the motorway just now, it hasn't moved for 2 weeks. There was a little puff of smoke coming out the back when I put my foot down when the turbo kicked in. Slightly concerning. I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but it only did it for the first couple of gear changes, and then it kind of disappeared. So I'm not sure what that's about. But again, I'm not going to let it worry me. This will probably end up selling for 1,500 quid. And as I said, 1,500 quid for a 2009 Seat Leon, with a beautiful interior that drives great, 85,000 miles, as I said, chain driven. It's got an MOT until end of August next year. I think that's a bargain, quite frankly. Even if you decided, right, okay, I want to spend 100 quid and get it polished the crap out of, and even if you said, right, Dan did such a crap job getting that wing sorted out, I'm going to take it and get it done somewhere professionally, you could get this whole corner blown in for about 120 quid. I know, because I've done it before. I'm hoping that's actually going to polish out a little bit better than it looks now. As I said, this faded bit here is just where I've sanded it and I've not polished it back. It's the clear coat. But do you remember all the scratches that were down here? They've all gone. There's a little mark there you can see, but as I said, I'm not a painter. I just wanted to give it a go and see what I could come up with. And to be fair, again, look back at the first couple of videos, you've got to agree that's not terrible, is it, really, for a £1,000 car, just to make it look a little bit better. I think that's all right. But as I said, I'm going to put it up at probably 16,950, see what happens. I'll go down to, say, 1,500 quid. That 200 quid saving then will give the guy, whoever buys it, or the girl, enough money to get that wing sorted out perfectly and get it polished and make it look perfect. And then, for 1,700 quid, you've got a great car, I think. So, yeah, in conclusion, shall we say, yes, I think it is worth doing for the man in, the layman, as it were, your man next door who hasn't really got a lot of tools, but has time, which I do have plenty of that's for sure, and a little bit of experience and no formal training. Give it a go. I mean, I would suggest you have a really, really, really good look at the pictures, because they're all in high def if you're going to buy from Syntec or Copart. They're all in high definition. Have a very, very, very good look. Save the pictures to your laptop or your phone or whatever, and then zoom the hell in on it and have a good look around. Make sure the wheels are pointing all in the right direction if it's suspension damage. Otherwise, there might be something else, more underlying problems when it comes to the suspension. I was lucky it was just the lower control arm. I'm not even sure if it needs the tracking doing now, to be fair, because it doesn't pull to one side. It seems perfect. The steering wheel's dead on, so that's fine. Check the MOT as well. Try to get one with an MOT and check the previous MOT history. If you can, find out if it's a private entry or a retail kind of entry. Because if it's private, 9 times out of 10, they're selling it because they couldn't sell it anywhere else, which has got to put up some warning flags. That's not necessarily so on the insurance write-offs, but generally speaking at auction, especially the one in St Austell that I won't mention the name, but you probably know if you live around here. Nice guys, don't get me wrong, but I'm always hesitant at private entries into an auction like that, because why? Why wouldn't you just sell it for 500 quid more privately? There's probably something wrong with it that you can't be bothered to get into, and you just want to sell it at an auction. When it it comes to Syntec and Copart, I don't think they tell you. They tell you what the damage is, and that's about it. So where are we with this now? That's about it. As I said, I'm going to put it up probably later on this afternoon. I'm going to try and polish back that wing. I'm not going to, make this sound any better than it is. It's going to be a 1695 car, 16995. 16995? No, that's 16 grand in it. 1,695 quid I'm going to put this up for, with the premise that I'll take 1,500 quid for it, because that'll make me a drink. It's given me a little bit of experience. It's taken away the fear in that respect. It gives me something to do and taken away the fear of buying a car at auction. Because as I said, when this arrived, I was pleasantly surprised. And there's nothing really inherently wrong with the car now. As I said, the lower control arm is brand new. That wing is cosmetic. The only thing that really needs sorting out now on this car is a little bit of cosmetics, a couple of scratches and a bit of polish, or just get that wing blown in. That's a personal choice. But if you want a quick little run around, cheap to run, as I said, 1.4, I think this will suit somebody down to the ground. It's got a massive boot as well. I'm hoping it'll open. Hey, there we go. Got a massive boot. There's the floor mats. There's nothing wrong with this car, I wouldn't say, apart from cosmetics. So, as I said, in conclusion, I think it's worth it. I think you can make money. I didn't make a fortune on this, but if you break it down, that's 30% profit. So, 25% profit, shall we say, because it's 1,200 quid. If I make 300 quid profit on this, that's a 25% profit margin. That's not bad. That's not terrible for 2 weeks' work, and it's only 2 weeks' work because the weather was a bit crap and I had to wait for it. And I've been a bit lazy. Plus, I had another car that I've been working on as well, which is up and coming as well. So watch out for the video there. It is another insurance car. Aha. I won't give you any clues on that. If you go to the Instagram account, you'll see it there actually. But as I said, follow me on Instagram. You'll see all the upcoming stuff there. I tend to post pictures of what I'm about to do up on there, and there'll be some pictures of this car here as well, as and when I was doing the paintwork. Some primer pictures, some filler pictures, and then some base coat, clear coat, that kind of stuff. And obviously you can see from the video we're making today how it's ended up. It's a shame. When I polish that back, if it looks better, I'll post another couple of pictures up on Instagram so you can see what I managed to polish out of that left-hand wing, if I managed to make it better. But as I said, if you want to take a quick sneak peek at another insurance car that I bought last week, Instagram, just follow me on Instagram. You can see some pictures there. There's only a couple, but it'll give you an idea of what's up and coming. If you enjoyed this, then consider subscribing. If you like videos on kind of budget cars and bikes, again, consider subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up if you would. That always helps. And I hope you enjoyed the series. As I said, it was just a quick series just to see, is it worth it? And I think a 25% profit for a 2-week turnaround, just a bit of pocket money. Yeah, of course it's worth it. Why not? Would I do it on a more expensive car? I think I might. I think I might spend 2 or 3 grand on a car, and then spend 500, plus pound on it, and see if you could make 5 or 6 grand on it, because that's where the big money is. But not yet. I don't have that kind of confidence yet. But I'd do another one of these in a heartbeat. As I said, I bought another one pretty much the week after I bought this one. So video on that up and coming, and I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, if you did, subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Take care now.